What does a completely unplanned day in van life look like for us? Well, we're going to show you. So here's the deal. We have no idea. Well, we maybe have a small idea, but we really have no idea of what today is going to look like. Today is a Saturday. We are in Alaska. We have a general gist of where we're going to head, but we don't know the details. We don't know where we're going to sleep tonight. We don't know what food we're going to eat, what we're going to get up to. So we're going to kind of figure this one out as we go, and we invite you to come along for the adventure. So if you've never been to Alaska, this is actually an invaluable resource. This is the milepost, and it literally gives for every single highway in Alaska and even on the drive up from Canada, it gives you kind of a turn-by-turn overview and outline, gives you details of not every mile, but just about every mile. And so this is going to be a really helpful guide for us today as we explore. We've got a map here of the Kenai Peninsula, which is where we are. And we're actually, I don't know if you can see, but we're somewhere right up here. We're in an area called Rainbow Lakes. And our general idea is we're going to try to get down to Homer and check it out and see what we see along the way. We're hoping to sleep somewhere in this region, but again, we're not too sure where that's going to be. But we're going to just spend a little bit of time right now doing a little bit of research, mapping out the route a little bit, and then we're gonna hit the road. All right, we've had some breakfast. Tilly's been out for her walk. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day, so let's get going and hit the road.
I've never known a love so steady.
All right, well, before we get too far into our day, we definitely have a few things we need to take care of, some errands, which are never fun, but we have learned that the sooner you get those done, the better. The most important one is, and not to go into any details, but is to take care of our number two. So now that we're back into civilization, that is top of the list. We've also run out of paper towels, and we tend to go through those pretty quickly. So we're gonna find somewhere to get some of those. And then third, I am running pretty low on gas. So we need to fuel up before we get this journey going any further. So we're gonna figure out where it makes sense to knock this stuff out. So Lavinia just discovered that there is a Walmart in the town of Kenai. We're obviously on the Kenai Peninsula, and there is a city called Kenai, and they have a Walmart. So we get to kill two birds with one stone. We are gonna go get our paper towels and do our number two here. So what more could we ask for? All right, we got our paper towels. We've done our number twos, so now to go get some gas. So we use the Gas Buddy app to figure out the best prices for fuel. And we've actually found a pretty good deal here in Kenai at a holiday station, $3.84 a gallon for diesel. It's some of the best prices we've seen in a while. So we are gonna head over there and fill up. All right, we are all fueled up. I put about 40 gallons in. You know, we have a 47-gallon tank, and so, which we love because that actually gives us quite a bit of flexibility to shop around for prices and gives us a little bit more range, but we now have a full tank. Our plan is right now to try to get down to Homer. It's about an hour and a half's drive down the Cook Inlet, but we are gonna try to scout some potential campgrounds to camp at tonight. Today's a Saturday and it is a beautiful day. It is sunny, it is warm, a lot of traffic on the road. So we're not sure what our options are going to be, but we're going to do some scouting as we head down to Homer and see what we can figure out.
So we're in Kenai now. We're thinking of going down along the coast here, back to the Sterling Highway, and we're heading to Deep Creek area. We're going to check out the campground there to see if they have any availability. There's 100 sites, but it is Saturday and it's a beautiful weekend.
Well, we just took a spin through the Deep Creek Recreation Camping area. You know, it's got availability, so that is a plus. Some of the sites are like right crammed next to your neighbor, and some of them don't have the best views. The ones that are right on the beach are taken. But it could be an option, so we're giving it some thought. We've already spotted like 5 or 6 bald eagles, either flying overhead or down on the beach. Definitely a busy area, a lot of fishing going on here, a lot of boats, a lot of cars and stuff. So we're gonna take Tilly for a bit of a spin, grab some lunch and reassess. But we are right on the water. The marine layer just came in, so we actually don't have views looking out to the mountains across the inlet. But this would be a beautiful spot, so we will see. So that eagle is about 30 feet from our van as we sit here and have lunch. Tilly's having a good time checking it out too. What do you think, Tilly? Do you want to go make friends with the eagle? So despite the front row seat to eagles and availability at this campground, we've decided to press our luck and we're going to keep heading south towards Homer and check out a few more campgrounds as we head down, and maybe we'll get lucky, maybe we'll be back here, maybe we'll be at Walmart tonight, but we're gonna keep going. Okay, quick detour. The milepost told us that this viewpoint that we just pulled off into has some of the best scenic views, so we're gonna go check it out. So one of the cool apps that we've been using now is called the Peak Finder, and it really helps to identify the mountains. And so out there we got Mount Iliamna at 10,000 feet. And over here we've got Mount Redoubt at 10,000, almost 200 feet. These are volcanoes and they are active. They are pretty spectacular, and it is a clear day. So we are feeling very blessed. And what's pretty spectacular is that's 10,000 feet, but starting at sea level. So that is basically 10,000 feet straight up. All right, we're just pulling into our second option or campground that we're scouting out. This is called Stariski, and it's supposed to have really nice views. Actually, right, the very first site is available. So we're just gonna do a quick spin around. There's only like 16 sites here, so it's pretty small, but it's supposed to be pretty nice. There's actually quite a bit of availability. Some of the sites have views, and the ones that have direct views are taken. But if we just needed somewhere to sleep, this could be an option. What do you think, Lavinia? Should we check out the one just down the highway from here?
Yes.
All right. Decision made. This is another option, but there is hopefully better options. I actually think I would go back to Deep Creek over this one. What do you think?
Yep.
Yeah. This one has, I mean, you're basically up on a cliff overlooking the inlet with stunning views of the mountains, but they're kind of through the bushes, and the sites that are available, you wouldn't really have a direct view. So we will keep going. This search continues. All right, we're pulling into our third option. This is Halibut Campground near Anchor Point. We're about, I don't know, 20 minutes or so north of Homer. We're probably the most skeptical about this one, but we're going to give a drive around and see if there's anything available that looks better than what we've already seen. So there is one campsite available. It is not beachside. It doesn't have a view. So I think we're just debating. I think we're going to pull in and park here and then just go for a bit of a walk and see if this is appeasing for the night or not. I'm sure you've all seen the show House Hunters. I feel like that's what we're right in the middle of. We got 3 different campground locations that we just scouted out. Each have availability, and so now the decision is which one is right for us. All right, so here's where we're at. 3 campgrounds. Deep Creek, really no privacy, tons of eagles right on the water, but our views would be more or less of RVs. But it was a great location. We really liked it. Starry Ski would be very quiet and intimate with some peekaboo views high up on the cliff overlooking the inlet and the mountains, tons of availability. And then Halibut, 1 spot available, walking distance to the beach, beautiful views, not from the actual campsite itself, but a short walk down to the beach gives you great views, and we've heard there's a ton of eagles here as well. We haven't seen any yet, but we're going to take people's word for it. So we went back and forth, and we've actually decided to stay at Halibut. This one just feels like it's going to give us the most peace and quiet, a little bit more privacy, and a very short walk down to the beach and some spectacular views. So we're going to set up camp here. Once we get set up, kind of staked our claim, we're going to drive down to Homer and check Homer out. So we're pretty excited about that. It is about 3:20 in the afternoon, so a little bit later than we were hoping, but we're feeling good. We have a place to sleep tonight, and it's a beautiful location. Well, we made it into Homer, and we are driving out on the Spit, which is just basically a long, thin stretch of land that heads out into the bay. It's really beautiful. The Kachimak, is that what it's called? Kachimak Bay? Looking out over to the mountains on the other side, which is actually kind of the backside of Kenai Fjords National Park, which is where we were earlier on our trip. Homer is more than we expected. We really didn't know what to expect coming down here. We actually debated for the last few weeks if we even wanted to come down this way. We asked for a lot of recommendations and if we should, and we finally decided let's just do it, and we're pretty impressed. It is really pretty. So we're glad we did the little side trip down here. We just got back to the campground after our scouting mission to Homer. We're probably going to go back down to Homer tomorrow and do a little bit more exploring. It's about a 25-minute drive or so. So we're back to the campsite now. We are just settling in for the evening. We got Tilly some food. We're going to start cooking dinner for ourselves. We debated a little bit about what we wanted to have for dinner tonight. We decided to go with something easy. We're going to just do some frozen veggies with some sausages. That's kind of one of our go-to meals. We do it maybe once every couple weeks. Really simple, really easy, but also pretty tasty. You know, one of the cool things we just learned about our campground is a little bit of a bonus. We are actually at the most westerly point of North and South America that can be accessed by road. In other words, like the interconnected roadway system. In other words, you don't have to take a boat or a plane to get to the road. So we are pretty far west, at least in terms of the road system. So that's kind of cool. We've spotted a couple of eagles as well, just on our little stroll around the campground as we were taking Tilly for a walk. So all in all, it's been a good day. I'm glad you came along for the ride. I hope you got a little bit of insight as to what a day looks like for us in van life and on the road, especially a day that's maybe a little bit more unplanned than others, but we really enjoyed the day. It's been a long one. We're gonna just relax a little bit now and have some dinner. All right, we are signing off for the day. You know, this was a great day. Again, hopefully it gave you a good glimpse into what a day looks like for us. It's not always just fun and adventure. I know a lot of my videos do show a lot of our adventures, but we thought we'd show you a little bit of a glimpse of sometimes the daily grind, especially when we have a lot of decisions to make, and that can get exhausting. So we're going to sign off. That is it for now. We'll see you on the road next time, and may God bless you.